Hello everybody and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
The weather's bad now.
Raining and sad.
The weather outside is frightful.
Yeah.
But the fire and the central heating has not yet been turned on.
No, it's not.
No.
So
The single bulb is so delightful.
Yeah.
It brings us a great deal of warmth.
I kind of am refusing to put the heating on because I'm like, it's barely even September. I'm not putting the heating on, but it was a bit cold last night and I was
Yeah.
like,
I went
wake
round the house
me
and
up when
closed.
September ends.
Yes.
Please.
Oh, are you going to bed
Yeah, I'll
now?
see. But
Where's he going? He's just hitting the
biffing
microphone.
the mic. Bye everyone.
Bye, Peter.
Bye.
Sleepy Peter is going away. We'll wake him up at the end in October. I had to go around the house and close all the open lock windows that have just been open all summer. You know, when you put it on the little latch,
Yeah.
not the full open. And that was kind of sad.
yeah.
Felt like an end. I'm sure the sun will come out at the weekend or something.
It's
and-
supposed to have a little bit of a heat wave at some point next week, but it's
my
like,
God.
oh, we're going to be struck with a 26-degree heat wave. And I'm like,
Scorchio.
26 is not even warm.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But so yeah, it's
bummer.
raining here and we're all sad about it.
yeah.
Summer's over. It never begun.
The obligatory start of podcast weather update.
Yeah.
We need to do it. I'm also sad because my favorite video game, Concord, has faced some troubles this week.
Oh, has it?
It's a little bit
I
upsetting.
haven't heard about any
No,
of that.
I haven't heard about any of
Well,
this
maybe
either.
maybe we'll talk about it in a bit. But I am very optimistic that Astrobot is going to save the entire world. He's
Yeah.
going to come to our rescue. And,
Yeah.
and save the
Astrobot
universe.
saves the world.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Famous game.
Each and every week, we are sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. It helps us keep that bulb on, and sometimes we can turn the central heating on as well. But as we said, we haven't done it yet. Ashton, do you have the ad read there?
I do. So you guys know how like a lot of the time when you play games, the protagonists are kind of like really fantastical characters, like a little robot, for example, or a god of war, or someone who is very significant.
Zeus of Dad. or
Yeah,
whatever.
Zeus of Dad. Yeah. Well, Sony kind of were like, oh, I feel like there's a bit of a gap in the market for just like a story about a regular guy.
Right.
Just a regular guy
Just
with
a
a
normal
regular
Some
name.
Joe Schmo.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's just focusing around this one guy. He's called Robert.
Robert.
Yeah, that's his name.
Okay.
And he's the
Right, hang
final one. He's
Okay.
last robot. Robert is the last Robert. He's the only one there,
Okay.
and he is going through a platforming
Last
game.
robot.
Last Robert. Last Robert.
Oh, okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Just can I say it in a cadence that other people might understand if they're confused?
Sure.
Lastrobot.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Why would you say it like that?
So I don't know.
About the last Robert.
No, you're right.
Last
Sorry,
Robert.
Last Robert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you now.
He's the final one. There might be other Roberts dressed up around the place as different characters, but he's the last
He's
Robert.
the last Robert. That's sad for Robert.
Yeah,
So he can't mate with another Robert
no.
and produce more.
He's just a regular guy called Robert. Like
Could've
he's
been-
just kind of he struggles to climb uphill like
Oh.
for things because he's just a regular guy called Robert. But he's the last
not
Robert.
got strength or power or
Nope.
anything.
No,
Could have been last of Bob. Is that any better?
I don't know.
think so.
No, probably not. So it's equally bad.
Yeah.
And it's not real.
Oh, you really had me going there for
You
a
sure
minute.
did,
I
yeah.
thought that was.
It's a bit of a
there's no way.
stretch, but I mean, I feel like we've had some real stretches of recent.
Yeah.
So
I was actually on my way in this morning thinking, oh, this would be a fun little podcast sponsor that you guys can maybe use next week when I'm not here.
hey, text it to Peter.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you want it? I'll send it.
Send it now.
I'll send it. Hang on, let me send it.
I will forget to
Yeah.
do this next
You'd
week.
be like,
but-
what does this message mean? And
No,
you'll
I mean, I'll
never
forget
know.
entirely. I'll bring along some rubbish sponsor. And then the following week, Ben will be like, hey, what did you all think of the sponsor that I sent Peter?
Oh,
And I'll be
it's
like,
rubbish.
That one. Yeah.
rubbish.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Astrobot though. Out tomorrow.
too, I
at
can't
time
wait.
Of recording.
Yeah.
And it's
All
gonna be
signs
grand.
point to it being really good. We don't know what the reviews are yet. How good's that, Peter? Isn't it the best one you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem that excited.
He
about
doesn't
it.
seem very excited about
I'm trying
many
to play it
things, though,
cool.
to be fair.
Okay.
Unless we're talking
He's
about
keeping
Spyro.
the hype low.
Yeah.
It's difficult to
Yeah.
difficult to get
Spyro
true hype out, unless it's Legs or Spyro.
Yeah.
It's hard to get hype out of Peter Austin.
So true.
And no, we're not sponsored by
Last Robot.
Last
Robot.
Robert. We are, of course, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. If you go and support us over there, you can ask questions on this podcast. You can get early access to several of the shows that we do. And you can get exclusive access to even more shows what we do. What? We recorded one of those shows this week, Main Menu. What?
The way you both looked at me then. Really got a response.
The way you said what was crazy, it made no sense. That's why we both looked at you.
It's just a bit of banter.
Is he okay? Peter's now taken the hype to heart and he's
Yeah.
going to seem really excited.
Wow!
What show? It's Main Menu. We we've got to work out another way of saying it's bad.
Yeah.
Because it's always bad. But
It was quite. I mean, we made a living creature.
Yes.
Yeah.
We christened it and everything.
It had a name. Yeah. A real given name.
Yeah.
That will be exclusive to Patreon. That Main Menu is our cooking show. If you weren't aware, that will be out on Patreon the beginning of next month.
October,
right?
yes.
Yes, very start of October. So please be excited for that. A few things to talk about before we get started. TripleJump is our website. That's where you can find links to our YouTube, Twitch, Discord. If you want a cameo from us, TripleJumpShop.com to get some amazing merchandise. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. Ka-chow. I'm wearing my birthday present today.
Gamer.
My gamer shirt.
yeah.
Shirt.
Cert?
Certified shirt. Certified cert. And a few things that are going out on the channel this week, the most significant of which is a brand deal.
Move over, Review Corner.
Sponsored.
Quipscope happened this week. We did a Quipscope all about casting a Frankstone. Hashtag sponsored, hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad.
But we're very excited to talk about that and play it and have a great time. In fact, by the time this podcast has gone out, we'll have done our stream on it.
Yes.
Our
It
hashtag
happened on
sponsored
Thursday.
stream, which
Hashtag
will be
sponsored stream.
on the VODs channel if you've missed it. We're letting Twitch chat help us decide what we're doing. Because there's a Twitch integration. If you don't know what it is, it's a super massive game
Yes.
Set in the Dead by Daylight
One of those
universe.
branching narrative
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. So check that out on the VODs channel if you fancy.
And there's a lovely link underneath everything that we've done on it that you can click and find out more about the game, and it would help us out if you click through that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you to Behavior Interactive as well for sponsoring us, because we like these games anyway. So
We
this
do.
is a real win for us.
Yeah. It's also Weirdest Games Ever week. If you're a patron, you will have already seen it. It's Dr. Muto. I played it and I turned into a mouse. So
You
check
did?
that out when it comes out on Sunday.
I would say spoilers, but the thumbnail is him as a mouse. So,
Well, there we are.
all right.
Yeah.
Available on the channel tomorrow. Unless you're a patron, you got it last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could watch it again if you want.
Patreon.com/Team TripleJump. You should watch it again. Tell all your friends as well. It's time now for question one.
It comes from Chris McVeigh, who says, "Hi, Bap.
Hi.
There's been a lot of talk recently about the Xbox Series S. More and more developers are saying that having to support it is proving unreasonably difficult, but it represents a big chunk of Xbox console users that are still being promised all the newest games. What sort of a future do you see for the Series S? Do you think they'll drop/de-emphasize it and start releasing full Series X exclusives? Or will they stick to their guns and keep the low-spec obligation around for the rest of the generation?" Do you want to know what Phil Spencer sees for the future of the Xbox Series S?
I would love that.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
According
Maybe
to...
just read a bit then.
there's a lot. There's all that to read.
Oh, bloody
Fine.
hell.
Sorry. According to Video Games Chronicle, Phil Spencer doesn't see a world where Xbox Series S has to miss out on some games. Here's the quote.
That's a bit dramatic, isn't
Doesn't
it?
see
He
a
does
world.
not
I
see
cannot
a world.
envision a world.
I'm incapable of even imagining it. This is how it went. Quote, on S specifically, we designed the box with similarities to X and clear places where we are targeting different performance, Spencer told Eurogamer on Wednesday. And we're taking feedback from devs, including Larian. I met with them today to talk about it, and I'm confident we're going to find a good solution, and we are going to learn. This article comes from tail end of August. I don't see a world where we drop S. In terms of parity, I think you've heard from... I don't think you've heard from us or Larian that this was about parity. I think it's more that the community, I think that's more what the community is talking about. There are features that ship on X today that do not ship on S, even for our own games, like ray tracing that works on S. It's not in certain games on S. So for an S customer, they spent roughly half of what the X customer bought, and they understand it's not going to run the same way. I want to make sure games are available on both. So it's our job as platform holder, and we're committed to that with our partners. It's difficult reading a quote because it's not always grammatically, it's sort of, he's talking very conversationally and then he trails off. And I think we're going to get there with Larian. So I'm not overly worried about that, but we've learned some stuff through it. Having an entry-level price point for a console sub $300 is a good thing for the industry. I think it's important. The Switch has been able to do that in terms of kind of the traditional plug into my television consoles, full stop. I think it's important, so we are committed.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear off of Phil, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always good to hear from Phil. So certainly the official line is that S is going nowhere in terms of receiving every single game that comes out on Xbox Series. Do we think that's the right move? I mean, we're hearing from devs time and again that it's making things very difficult. I mean, he says it himself there, no ray tracing on X. Well, immediately by definition there, you've got two different builds of a game that you're having to create. I mean, I'm no developer. Maybe it's as simple as, we'll make one where you can just turn ray tracing, behind the scenes, you're just enabling or disabling ray tracing. Is it as easy as that? I don't know. Or does it actually cause a lot of headaches where you have to factor in a whole load of other graphical settings because this thing doesn't have ray tracing? And that's just one example. It's all sorts of things where the S is literally not capable of doing certain features or effects, and other places where it maybe is capable of doing some of them, but not all of them together. So you have to it's almost like spending your experience points in an RPG. You have to turn up the resolution and turn down the performance. Or, I mean, that's true of every console though, isn't it? But certainly, it's clearly causing a lot of headaches for developers, particularly third party, I think. And I do wonder if it's a bad move on part of Phil because it might discourage, especially indie developers, it might discourage them from wanting to even bother tackling the Xbox Series because it sounds like just a whole load more work.
We've talked a bit about this when it comes to PlayStation, specifically when it was PlayStation 4/5 games. And we've seen a lot more in the last 12 months games coming out exclusively for PlayStation 5, and there being less games launching on PlayStation 4. However, there are still games that will release on both platforms, and a lot of the time those games are not graphically intense / require an awful lot of power from the PlayStation. But in terms of Xbox, I do think that the Xbox Series S is a fantastic product. I think it makes complete sense, and I think everything that Phil says about it being an accessible console is true, and it's great that this is the case. However, I do think that if devs are saying it's becoming increasingly more difficult to make our games available on S as well, I think maybe Xbox will struggle to receive games from outside of their own first parties. I mean, they own so many companies, so realistically there's still going to be a boatload of games. But we're seeing with Baldur's Gate, and we're seeing with
Dune Awakening.
Yes, thank you.
That's the new one that they've recently said it will be a challenge.
Yes,
the series.
yeah. We're seeing people be more vocal about it and saying that this is starting to become an issue. So I do think that maybe eventually we're going to see the S start to fizzle out, but I think they'd struggle. Much like we were saying the other week with the Game Pass tiers are changing and they're going back on their word a little bit, or things are shifting and it looks bad on them. I wouldn't blame them for phasing out the S in terms of new releases. I would, however, think it would look bad on them if things are no longer coming out on one of their two consoles that release at the same time. But I also do think that if you own an S, much like if you own a Switch, the game you're getting on the Switch is never going to be as good quality-wise as the ones that are coming out on PlayStation and Xbox Series X or PC. So there is always going to be a downgrade, and I think as long as you're willing to accept that from a player point of view, then that's fine. But I do think eventually it's going to maybe be a bit difficult for devs.
I mean, you mentioned phasing out. That almost allows Phil to kind of still be true to his word. So what he's saying at the moment is, for as long as the S and X are supported, we will always release everything on S. But if officially, even though the S's will still be out there in people's houses, if officially they say we are no longer producing the S or supporting it going forward, then perhaps he'll be able to justify stuff not coming out on it anymore and not have to stick to this statement that he's made.
Yeah. This Series S, Series X issue has been a story for as long as the Series S has been around. I think the Series S is a great idea. I love my Series S. It was a very affordable way into the Xbox, the next-gen Xbox ecosystem for a lot of people, myself included, and it works great. And I think it's very noble that Phil and Xbox are going to stick to their guns on this one. However, it is clearly causing issues for Xbox. Baldur's Gate 3 was held back for the longest time, and you're right in that it could potentially scare off other big multi-platform games from coming over, because there's this rule that they have to make it run on Series S, and that's only going to get more challenging as the generation goes on. So I think it's lovely that he's saying that they're going to keep doing this, but and if they don't, obviously, as you said, it's going to be a bad look because they've gone back on their word, and especially as he's doubled down very recently on it as well. But they are sort of increasingly going to be shooting themselves in the foot in terms of making it harder for games to come to this platform. And I don't necessarily know what the solution is here. The obvious one is to drop the Series S.
Yeah.
Another option is potentially to have games come to Series X as a priority and come to Series S later. Although the first game that inevitably, eventually, after months and months, says, oh, we're not going to do the Series S version after all, is going to be a huge headline, and that could create sort of an avalanche effect of, oh, well, maybe we can't get it to work either, and we brought it out on the Series X, so never mind. And then that whole thing comes crumbling down. There could be a changing of the guard potentially with their new systems that are coming out, the all-digital Series X, although I think that's pretty unlikely if he's just said that. Or they could do something like the Switch does, in that games that simply cannot run or could run on the Series S but would require a great deal extra effort on the part of the developers could be made exclusively playable on Series S via streaming. Depending on the tier of Game Pass that would require.
Cloud.
Exactly, they've got all that cloud stuff, so that could be something that they could do as well. It's a tough one, because it will be a sad day where the Series S is no longer supported. However, we are closer to the next generation than we are to the start of this one. So it could be that they just take it on the chin, limp through the next few years enforcing this rule, and then just not do it again, because this has been a bit of a pain. As much as I think it's a very consumer-friendly decision, this is clearly causing issues and that I don't imagine they'd want to do it again.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Lovely. Great conversation.
Yes.
Guys.
Well, now it's time for a new segment in honor of summer ending that I think we should call What We Playin.
Oh, okay. It's What We Playin time. Time to talk about the games what we have been playing. Petost, what have you been playing?
I'm a bit cross at Ubisoft.
Oh, okay.
Because I, of course, started Star Wars Outlaws, and I spoke about it last week because it only just come out, and played a few hours of it. And then this week just gone, on Monday, I was like, I'll stream it now. That'll be good. Didn't even I kind of thought, possibly this might just overwrite my current playthrough. And I thought, whatever. I've only played almost the same amount that I'm about to play on stream anyway, so it'll just get me back to where I was. Doesn't really make a difference. So I launched a new game, and as it turns out, it did overwrite my previous save, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine.
Love that.
But then this week, I decided, right, I want to play some Outlaws now in my free time. And I realized not only did it actually overwrite my previous save, but there is absolutely no option to not do that. You cannot have more than one playthrough on the go. So I've not played any more Star Wars Outlaws since I've not got I've played it through twice up to pretty much the same point and not gone any further because I don't want to ruin the progress of my live stream. So it's your fault. It is your fault I can't play any Outlaws
Don't
right
take
now.
that.
If you'd have thought about it in advance, you should have bought a second PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I
Did
should
you
have.
consider that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
there we are.
And that's what I'm doing this week. No, so I'm
So you're essentially locked out of continuing to play Outlaws
because of the ongoing stream. Yeah.
That's
so
a shame. Why do games like that in this day and
I
age
don't
not
know.
Why is
allow
there just
more
not
than
an
one
option
save?
to-
Drives
save,
me mental. You still make
extra
me
save.
so mad with Animal Crossing that you could only
Oh,
have
yeah,
one
that's
island
so
per Switch.
stupid.
That used to piss me off.
Yeah, agree.
That is weird and annoying.
Yeah. Although now thinking about it, I'm pretty sure when you pause the game, there is an option that says save game and load. There's definitely a load game thing. And possibly if I did a manual save, that wouldn't be overwritten by anything. And then maybe I could do a different manual save on another playthrough. I don't really know
You
how.
didn't try that.
I didn't actually try that.
Right.
But all I
You
know
just went
is
straight to cross.
You just decided to be cross.
livid. Just because there are 3 slots and they all said autosave, and it had clearly just been autosaving while I was streaming it on Monday, and it had overwritten everything. So I don't quite know how it works. There is the option to upload your data to the cloud.
Yeah.
So if I could be asked, I could maybe,
You could have just not synced your PlayStation to the cloud and then turned off syncing on this PlayStation, and then it would have been 2 technically independent saves.
yeah, possibly. But
So what we're saying actually, Peter, is that this is your fault.
well, I played it on my home PlayStation, so
yeah,
I
but you could just turn off syncing.
I'm not using the cloud at all though right now.
Yeah, so you could play it
Yeah.
on your PlayStation, and as long as you're not synced your save to the cloud,
Yeah.
the other PlayStation wouldn't know that you've been playing.
There aren't 2
only.
PlayStations. I'm only using one
No, but
PlayStation.
the work. Oh, yeah, of course you're at
Yeah.
home. You're at home.
yeah.
Or they could just give you loads of save
Oh, they could just give you loads of
They
save
could
slots.
give you
I
loads of
agree.
save
Sorry.
slots.
Ultimately,
That
it
would
is
be the
Yves
best thing.
Guillemot's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow Michel Ancel is involved
It's
as well.
probably
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
From his wildlife sanctuary, he just sent a quick message to Ubisoft and said, by the way, I know I'm not really involved anymore in any of your work, but make
Get
sure
rid of all
One
of the save
save.
slots.
make sure you only have one save slot in that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it is quite annoying. So I've actually, despite Star Wars Outlaws being available, I've not played that this week, and I've not played anything else.
Oh,
Because I got cross on Wednesday when I tried to,
Still
or on
riding
Tuesday,
that.
sorry.
Riding
I'm
that
going to play
Yeah,
some
riding
Outlaws
the
now.
rage,
That's great.
yeah.
Can't wait. And then, so I've not even turned my PS5 because it's hooked up to my PC, so I can stream
if I
from.
can't play PlayStation, I'm not playing nothing.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I did. So
What's the protagonist called again?
K Vess.
K Vess.
More like not okay Vess. K? No, not. Livid.
It's coming for you, Ubisoft.
So play nothing. That's my way of filling that long story.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I could have just said nothing other than live streaming.
Yeah.
But there we go. That was my long answer.
I've only played one thing this week. I am back on my Disney Dreamlight Valley bull flip.
Whoa. Who's in there now?
Oh my god, there was so many people I didn't even
They
realize.
can't sleep.
They had added 6 more people in, and there was a big update. So I was like, I'll just go and see what's going on. And they've added Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc., Daisy Duck, Mulan and Mushu, and Tiana. And they're now all in my island. And I spent all of Tuesday night playing Disney Dreamlight Valley whilst watching movies.
That sounds chill as hell.
It was really good.
it's
Drinking
taken this
wine.
long to add Daisy Duck.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
Isn't it
so-
Daisy
I mean-
Duke? From the...
Yeah, I did think it
from
sounded.
that one.
I sort of noticed that it sounds similar.
I
but
don't
yeah.
know. But yeah, so I've been playing that this week. I played it all Tuesday night. I got 3 of them to my island on Tuesday night. Got them to level 5 by just like power gaming their like friendship and their missions and stuff. And I keep meaning to like buy Outlaws, and I think we're gonna buy Astrobot as well. But like I just keep putting it off because I feel like I haven't got any time. I was away driving around the country for the last few
Ugh.
weekends, so I've not really had any time. So I'm excited to have some time over the next few weeks to play Star Wars, but I've been meandering around my Dreamlight Valley. It's my valley is so ugly, and I look at other people's because you can share it and you can visit other people's islands now. And mine looks terrible. Mine sucks. I go to others and they're like, a candy cane world, and every tree has been moved, and there's not a single.
man.
And I'm there like, well, all my houses are all stuck together because I don't know where to put them, and everything's too big, and everything's just kind of dotted around because I keep getting told to like, put a playful item on the beach, and I'm like, I've only got a massive Ferris wheel. I guess that would just have to go there, and it just looks horrible and ugly. And then I go to other islands and I'm getting well mad about how nice theirs is. I need to hire like a Dreamlight Valley kind of designer
Interior
to come and tell
designer.
me what to do.
Or exterior as well.
Yeah, and every time you get a new person, they have obviously a house. So you have to find somewhere to put their house. But I feel like I'm running out of room where, like, in the places that I want to put the houses. And then Tiana has a second building. And I was like,
What?
for God's sake, Tiana, you don't need two buildings.
Why has she got that?
She's got a house and her restaurant.
Oh.
So-
She's got a restaurant
Yeah,
as well.
and then Mike
Get
and
her.
Sully's was like, there's like a bunch of buildings that look like a city. So now I've had to make like, that's like a little block. I just don't like it. It doesn't look nice. And I don't know what to do about it.
So
I'm trying my best.
You and I have both played one game this week and got cross about it.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Man.
And I was having a nice time doing the missions and stuff, but then they keep making me like wait, and I hate waiting. And it'll be like, wait 15 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to wait 15 minutes to do the quest. I just want to do it now. Or it'll be like, come back tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't want to come back tomorrow. Just let me do it now. Let me get them to level 10 right now, and then stop playing this game for another 6 months. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. What have you been playing?
It sounds frustrating in the valley.
It's not frustrating. I don't know why I'm getting so angry about it. It's fine. It's a nice little valley, but mine's just ugly.
I've played a few things.
Good.
So, Astrobot is out now at the time of release.
At time of
Yeah.
release.
And I somehow managed to not realize that they added 4 additional Astros,
To the
Astrobots to the base
Yeah.
game, to the original one, Astro's
yeah,
Playroom.
my boyfriend was getting all of those the other day.
You have to follow a guide because they're
yeah,
ridiculous.
he was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So he
you
was
have to
following
like
guide.
they're properly hidden and you have to
Yeah.
press them in a certain order. But there's 4 of them and there are trophies attached to each. And I thought, you know what, I will re-download that and sort of get attuned back to Astro because I have not played this game since it came out,
Yeah.
since
No,
the PS5
me neither.
launched. And my God, it's so good still. So good. And the music's amazing.
Music bangs.
And it's beautiful and it's so lovingly put together. You know, you lower the camera down slightly when you're, looking around and Astro will turn around and wave at the camera and stuff. And it's like, this is so nice. And at several points, I had to really fight to not just play through the rest of the level. And quite frankly, if I had a bit more time, because I'm going away and also it's out now, the sequel, I probably should have and would have liked to have played through it.
I wish I'd thought of that this week, actually. I could have played Astro, just the first one.
You
'Cause,
too
like,
busy
you'd have had
having
a great
tantrum.
time.
well, it's so out of my mind because, again, it's been
Yeah.
years since, that... I mean, it should be in my mind given that the next one's coming out and I'm really looking forward to it. But
4 years.
If the thought had come to me, I definitely would have just downloaded that and played through it because I remember having such a good time with it.
It's
really
lovely.
good
And
fun.
I'd love to play through it again without the mindset of, I've got to get everything, it's platinum hunting time.
Yeah.
And just play through it for fun. Because, it's so lovely.
I'm really excited for it to come out so I can play it.
Yeah, me too. I've
It's
got
going to be great.
all 4 of the bots, and then I took a little tour of the Labo area where you've got all your collectibles, all the PlayStation relics, and looked at the sort of what's it called, the tapestry that goes around the room, and chronicling all the time and the systems and so on. And then there's actually they've added in a little secret labo that you can go into that displays your 4 bots that you rescue as part of this extra DLC. And at the end, there's a portal with Astrobot, the new game, on it. And it's got a countdown timer above the door, which I thought was a nice little thing that they've added there. And it gave me the perfect reason to go back in. And I just wanted to play it really badly. I also played it on the flipping PlayStation Portal. And it worked great on that as well, because that's got all the stuff that the DualSense has. So really lovely. And also I did pre-order the Astrobot controller that's coming out soon because I thought it was really pretty and I don't need it.
One thing Ben needs,
Exciting.
it's more controllers.
1, 2, 3, 4. This will be my 7th controller. 7th controller, yes, my 7th controller. That's fine. I'll have to choose one to go out of circulation now. It's all right. I already bought a box protector off eBay to keep the box safe. Don't you? I knew that was your next question, and it'll be well looked after. Anyway, so I did that. I jumped into Final Fantasy VIII again. Played the opening part of Disc 3. I was really hoping to finish this before all of the games start coming out, but now all of the games are coming out, and I don't have time. So I'm going to try and find some time to go back to that at some point, but I'm going away on holiday. I'm very excited to go on holiday, but it will mean that I will be away from video games for an amount of time.
Yep.
Plucky Squire's coming as well soon.
Plucky Squire,
next
Silent
week.
Hill 2. There's flipping
Yeah.
loads out this month. It's crazy. I played some more Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, and it's still rubbish. Didn't have much time for it, so me and my friend just... I think we needed to be we reached a point in the campaign or the main story where it was getting a bit too hard, because our gear or we weren't leveled up to the correct levels. So we then went back and started doing side stuff, and the side stuff is so boring. It's basically the levels you've already been through, but they flip them. You do them backwards, and there's just a thing you've got to kill at the end of it. And it's like, this is so rubbish. I'm so uninterested. But anyway, it's nice to play in co-op and just have a catch up with a friend. So that's the only reason I'm really playing that. Of course, I played some WWE 2K24, doing a bit more prep for my TripleJump themed streams. Did the first proper one this week. It was very fun. And Miss This Legs is a character in it. Not Is This Legs, Miss
Very
This
good.
Legs.
Miss This Legs.
And I was able, she wears a lot of green, so I was able to key her out. So it's just the legs are there.
Oh, great.
And she won her debut match. Dick Mychinko put on a dominating performance.
When you say key her out, what appears behind her?
Just the background of whatever's below the game, which is the TripleJump scrolling background. But she's not there. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Dick Mychinko absolutely demolished Rules Boss, the NXTJ World Champion, which was quite scary to see. And having a great time with that. But I each time I play, I sort of have a to-do list that needs changing. Like, oh, that's not quite right. Danny DeVito was rated 96 for some reason. That's incorrect. Needed to sort that. So I was just doing some fun admin. Yeah, in the game and making sure stuff was sorted. Casting of Frank Stone. I've played a couple of hours of that. Really enjoyed it. Quipscope available now. Add. And the thing I'm going to talk about in a bit more detail in the review corner right now, Ashton, is the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 multiplayer beta, which I had a little go at as well. Should we talk about it?
I guess we have to.
All right, off you go.
Well, welcome over to the review corner.
Ooh.
It's me and Ben here.
Hello.
Because Ben, you've been playing something, haven't you?
I have. I've been playing the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 beta that was running until the 4th of September this week. It was meant to be a weekend beta, but the 4th of September, that's a Wednesday. So it was quite a generous amount of time for the beta. I think everywhere, apart from places where Game Pass are, you had to pre-order to get on. But I think if you got Game Pass, you could just play it. So I hopped into that. I played a little bit of that. You're watching me die sometimes, but not die other times.
Cool.
I actually did all right.
Nice.
Which I was very surprised by, because I
It's
thought...
the multiplayer, not the...
It's just the multiplayer,
content.
yes.
Yeah.
So I thought, here I go. I'm just going to get mown down over and over again. But I think I ended my play session with a positive kill to death ratio. So I was
Nice.
quite happy with that. I did a couple of cool back-to-back kills. Was never featured in the play of the game at the end. Invariably, that will be people who got 3 kills in quick succession. I only ever managed 2 in quick succession. So it wasn't quite good. But I was never featured in the montage of people being killed at the end. So I was like, all right, I didn't help my team enough to be put in the line of fire. But there's a few things that are different about this year's Call of Duty that obviously we heard quite a lot about in the Black Ops 6 Direct or whatever
they
they
did
called
after
it?
the Xbox game thing at Summer Game Fest.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So now you can sprint left and right, and you can
backwards.
sprint backwards.
Yep.
You can also dive left and right, and dive backwards. You can slide on your knees in all directions as well. Immediately, well, to be honest, when they first started talking about it, I thought, cool, I'm not going to do that because that feels alien to push the left stick in and hold backwards. That doesn't feel right to me. And then there's a little optional training course they put you through at the start of the beta, if you want to. That's what optional means.
Indeed.
Right?
Yeah.
And there was a point in it where I just thought, oh my God, the skill ceiling is going to get so high that I'm just going to be completely classed out of this game.
Yeah.
Where it says, okay, what we want you to do is run up to this ledge. Now this ledge is like a 10, 15 foot drop. Run up to this ledge, dive off the ledge, then spin around in midair and shoot the target that we've put up there. And it took me a few attempts.
Wow.
And the time I did it, I just thought, there are going to be some cyborg humans who are just insanely good at this. And, you know, you already see people like jumping around corners and stuff like that anyway. Now they're going to be diving backwards off buildings and trying to shoot. In theory, very cool.
Yeah.
In practice, I'm the one who's getting killed by the people jumping off the buildings. I'm not the one jumping off the buildings.
Yeah.
So you have to bear that in mind. Apart from that, though, it was, you know, it looks great visually. There are only a few sort of team modes available. So teams of 5. I played some domination where you have to capture all the zones and get the most points. Just a classic team deathmatch. And one where people were randomly assigned as the high value target on their team. And every few seconds, their position would be updated on the map for everyone to see.
Cool, like a bodyguard.
Yeah, and you have to take them out or protect them. No one protected them, of course. And the people who had them just sprinted straight into the heat of battle and died. And, you know, that's how that works. But when you go down, you can be revived. So that's slightly different rather than just die and have to respawn thing. One thing I will say though is that I'm still not a huge fan of crossplay with PC, especially for shooters.
Yeah.
Because when you watch the kill cams and they are just like the superhuman reflexes where they are snapping to you as soon as you come around the corner. I don't know how I'm meant to compete with that. Like I'll walk in and you'll see me at the edge of their frame and they'll go Vip! So much so that you're like, that's an aimbot. It's got to be an aimbot, but it's probably not. It's just mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
And people being really good at them. So I think there's still a bit of a mismatch there. It was really nice though to play some just straight up multiplayer because usually I don't bother with the multiplayer in COD games anymore.
Yeah.
But the Warzone-ification of Call of Duty recently, where it's creeped into the single player and the zombies modes, where you pick up guns of different rarity and stuff, and it's like, this isn't really what Call of Duty outside of Warzone is meant to be about. This was quite nice as a break from that, just to play some standard stuff.
What are the maps and stuff like? Are they?
They are maps that I have that I do not recognize. They might have come from some of the I think I played all the Black Ops games, but admittedly I played less and less of the multiplayer as they went on. So there's a good chance that they are either remade maps from Black Ops titles that I haven't played much online from, but I played one that was in like a big sprawling penthouse. There was one that was in a sort of train track where it's like a ghost train yard kind of thing where all the trains have been abandoned. So there was some nice variety, and I did quite like them. Lots of different avenues to go down, lots of ledges to jump backwards off and shoot. Look really cool.
Yeah.
But your usual Call of Duty stuff is there. You're leveling up your weapons. You are unlocking different kill streaks and stuff like that. There'll be battle passes, although I didn't really see much of that in what I played because I don't think it's ready yet. The different teams have different operators that you can choose from and unlock skins for. Weirdly, the sort of baddie side already as 2 of their base ones. One of them was like a half cyborg, half zombie. You could see like the flesh.
Oh, weird.
And another one was like a hulking zombie prison guard kind of thing as well, just as standard characters. So, and I got killed by someone with a bright purple gun. So it's already, you know, you're not going in there like, this is a realistic military shooter. You're getting killed by a zombie with a purple gun. So you get what you expect.
Yeah.
Call of Duty HQ, my final note here, is still horrible. That is the name of the hub. So when I got this key, and I will thank the person who gave the key in a moment, when I got the key for this beta, I redeemed it and I was like, okay, where is it? I don't know how to download it. Turns out you have to download the Call of Duty HQ app, which is the horrible thing that I complain about all the time with all the games in it.
Yeah.
And then it knows, oh, you got access to the beta. There we go. There's a little square there you can click on to access the beta. And then it loads into the beta. I hate that. Please just have them be separate apps. It's so horrible to use. I really don't like it.
No.
So there we are.
Yes.
That was my experience with the Black Ops 6 beta.
Lovely.
I enjoyed it for the most part. I'm way more interested in the single player, but it was nice to get in and have a little shoot about. This code was provided by Activision, so thank you to Activision for that. And per SA guidelines, therefore, this section is technically an ad, but there was no financial compensation. All the usual spiel. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 launches on PlayStation 5 and PS4. Apparently, that's still happening. Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows, and it will be on Game Pass where Game Pass is available.
Exactly.
There we are.
They are.
I'm tired now.
Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
Should we go back to the podcast?
Yes.
It's time now for question 2, which comes from Steven Skodes talking about Ben's favourite game. Hi, Bap. Sony's recently announced they are shutting down Concord. Where do you guys think Concord went wrong? And how will this have an impact on the genre?
My heart.
So if you've missed it, I've not got a full write-up, but just a quick brief of what's going on. Sony have are taking Concord offline very shortly, have refunded a bunch of players.
Everyone.
Well,
offered
refunds to everyone. And have said that they are taking it down to reevaluate how they can better reach players.
It's not coming back.
I don't think it is.
You don't think it's coming back?
No.
But I'm convinced it's not coming back in that they must know if they've got as far as to think we need to take this down, it's doing that badly. They must know that it mustn't come back. And yeah, I don't know why they've said we want to do they think it's you sort of saving face by pretending you're going to bring it back eventually? Or?
I don't. It's a tainted brand. There is no guise that this thing could come back and people would want to even give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could.
Yeah. Well, if it was completely different but just called Concord,
Even if they did free to play,
yeah.
I don't think people want it. It has been obviously that it's paid, and that's a big problem. We've talked about this before. We talk about Concord every bloody week. Hopefully this will be the last time.
Yeah.
But the market, the players have just rejected this.
Yeah.
They don't want it. This is not the kind of game that people, not even just talking as a Sony exclusive first party game, like people do not want this.
No.
It's not what people
And
this
yeah,
is
it apparently plays okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's just not interesting. And I think also the thing is they were usurped a little bit by Valve's Deadlock in the sense that before that even was announced, there were more players playing that than it did the Concord. And that at least has something, like we were saying last week, of like, what do they have to do differently? Like, how can you make people interested? And people were saying, well, people disagreed with us and were saying, well, actually, Deadlock's a good example of a hero shooter doing well, which is fine, but Deadlock plays differently than Concord. It has a different element of something that you have to think about with the little dudes that are with you in Deadlock.
And frankly, it's probably riding on the coattails of Valve's other huge successes as
People
well.
will give the Valve game attention. Yeah.
And also, like, the way it launched was so funny and silly that, like, people were playing. Like, I got an invite this week to play it, and I don't have any interest in playing it at all. But yeah, so I think that, like, Concord, I don't know if it'll come back. I don't see a world where it does come back. I think if it does come back, they're going to have changed it a lot. It's going to have to be free to play. There's going to have to be something else interesting going on. They might have to completely redo it and do a single player campaign or do some like PvE games instead of just PvP. Like, I feel like they have to, if they're going to take it away and bring it back, it's going to have to be something very, very special and very, very different to get people interested again.
Yeah.
And reignite the goodness around Concord. We've seen other games do it. Like, we have had games that have launched this badly, not online games as such, but we've talked about, I mean, Cyberpunk obviously gets brought up a lot, but that game had absolutely no right to have a revamp the way that it did. But it's now very successful and very good. But unless they do something on the scale with which Cyberpunk completely reinvented the game after it launched, I don't know what they can do.
Well, the interesting thing is, although we have seen this happen before, almost all the time it's because it's considered deceptive by the storefronts it's being hosted on, and it will, Steam or whoever it is say, we are issuing refunds for this, and we're asking that it gets removed from the store, or something is removed because it's super glitchy, it's just not, it's basically not playable. It's actually almost, maybe not unprecedented, but it's very, very unusual for a game to be removed from circulation purely because people just aren't playing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could argue in some way that it is lacking the functionality it's supposed to have, in that because there are so few players, it sort of doesn't function as a multiplayer game. I saw someone, considering we are still in launch week or fortnight or however long it's been, someone was waiting for, I think, 8 minutes to join a game at one point, maybe in 12 minutes.
We
even
talked about that last week.
Oh, was that? Did we mention it? Yeah. So in that sense, it's got issues with its functionality in sort of air quotes, but it is kind of unprecedented for someone to remove a game from the store because it's just not very popular.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think this is an unbelievable move. They brought out a controller. I haven't bought that one, and it's going to get one of those bloody dead pixels thingies, whatever it's called, secret level.
the
Secret
Love and
Level.
Robots thing.
They're doing that as well. What do you do now? Do you pull that? Like they obviously had a lot of stock in this. It's unreal for them to just go,
I think
actually, you know what? No. We've spent $250 million on
And
this
8
game.
years.
8 years. We bought the studio. And we've gone through this whole launch cycle. It's not even out 8 days, and they say, you know what, we're taking it offline to retool it. It's
crazy.
It's humiliating for PlayStation.
Yeah.
This is such a black eye, and it's so self-inflicted. And I've seen a lot of. I think the larger conversation isn't about what this means for the genre, because I think we're all agreed that the hero shooter genre, unless you've got a huge IP behind it like Marvel, you're going to struggle. It's way oversaturated. This was trend chasing, etc., etc. All the stuff we've already spoken about. But I think this is going to ignite a larger conversation about where PlayStation is these days. Because I've seen a lot of reactions to this talking about how potentially this is the pigeons coming home to roost, as it were, for PlayStation after years of poor communication and signing on some weird projects like this. This is the fallout of that. We haven't got any single player. I know we got Astrobot, and Astrobot will save everything. We're agreed.
Yeah, he's a rescue bot.
We're entering some tricky territory for PlayStation here, and questions have to be asked about whether Herman Holst is the right person to be in the position that he is now in, because he was the man responsible for signing Concord, for overseeing the purchase of Firewalk, and also the purchase of Bungie, which is basically just self-destructed over the past 6 months. Something needs to be done. I'm not saying that Herman is actively responsible for all of this, but this was his call, and he is now running the ship.
Well, I think we've seen a lot from them in the last 12 months about the things that they are prioritizing when it comes to games. And we've talked about how they've talked about live service games. They've talked about these online games. And I feel like we've seen a lot from them in terms of how can we chase the money? Where is the money? How can we get that money? How can we cash in on this? We don't have a game or a studio that is super like doing one of these multi-billion-dollar like live service games. Obviously Destiny 2 is incredibly successful and has made so much money for Bungie and thus PlayStation. However, we have seen these kinds of games fail out of PlayStation before they even launch, like The Last of Us 2 Factions. That has now gone and died because it wasn't going to be good enough. This has crashed and burned spectacularly. And I do just think, I'm hopeful that PlayStation will see this and be like, well, maybe we should just stick to what we're good at and make the games that do well, make the games that sell well and are blockbuster hits, and stop trying to emulate what other people are doing in the most cash grabby way that we can.
It's the problem with an industry where the line can never plateau. It must always be more money all the time. And you're right. They need to work out a way to, because we're still going to get, I imagine there's flipping loads of exactly the kind of games that people expect from PlayStation in development right now. But this has to be a huge wake up call for them and their strategy. And it takes a long time to turn the ship around, blah, blah, blah. But they need to work out a way to get great single player experiences out of the door cheaper and faster.
Also they don't have to be single player games.
No, they don't.
We've seen multiplayer games do really well. I mean, obviously Helldivers 2 did really well, but has since kind of had quite a drop off in player, which is completely normal when it comes to games like that. But yeah, there's probably at this point in time a lot of games in production at PlayStation Studios that are of a similar ilk to Concord, similar ilk to Last of Us Factions, in that they are cashing in on a market that has, since its popularity, become so oversaturated and so full of other stuff and has seen so many games fail that now they're going to have to publish these games whether they're going to do well or not. And maybe there'll be one or two of them will do really, really well, and that will be great, and that's lovely to see for the developers. However, I think we're going to see a lot more, not even just from PlayStation, I think we're going to see a lot more games like Concord fading out before something shifts in the industry and in the current like state of what games do well.
Well, I think that applies to Concord itself as well, in that I think you're right in that maybe one of the only things they could possibly do to try and reinvigorate at least a tiny bit of interest in Concord is if they added a substantial single-player campaign. If it came out of nowhere in a year or two and they said, hey, Concord's back, and, you know, maybe they would still be trying to push the multiplayer as well, but say, and there's this whole campaign now, and here's a trailer, and here are the characters doing fun things, and it would have to be a good one, not just here are all the multiplayer objective modes, but we call it single player, and there's a bit of a scripted moment in each level. Possibly that could actually get some people interested, or, you know, might even, or might at least think, I'll give it a go. But I think if they do anything other than that, if they just try to re-release it as some kind of multiplayer game,
but free to play,
even if it's free to play, I don't think that's going to be enough. It will always be, oh, that's Concord, that multiplayer game as a service that was terrible back in the day. It was removed. It's back now. It's probably going to be rubbish, isn't it? It's not different enough from the original product.
It's a laughing stock.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's forever tainted.
I don't see how it comes back from this.
No.
They've still got Fair Game $, and Marathon.
And Fair Game $, has been
There's positive buzz about Fair Game $. And it could do okay, as you said, Ashton. They've got to get these games out. Games cost way too much to make. They need to stop chasing this and focus on the things that they know do well. And you know what? Maybe it wouldn't hurt to just be a little bit more open as a company in terms of your communication, and at least pretend to give a crap, you know, about your player base the same way that Xbox does. You know, have some decent social media going on there. Bring back PSX and stuff like that. You know, the in-person events, and just be more accessible.
Yeah, I mean, we don't hear from Sony very often anymore. Like, we get blog posts which are terrible, and I wish they would stop doing them.
Yeah. They don't turn up at the big.
They don't turn up at the big shows.
Things, yeah.
We get like the one or two odd things from them in terms of like, oh, Jeff's showing off Astrobot. That's nice, but like we don't see them. We don't hear from them. We get like 2 state of plays or 2. Is it Showcase the big one, or is it State of Play?
Showcase is a big one. We haven't had one.
Yeah, we haven't had a Showcase this year. We don't know what PlayStation are doing. They've just done a few State of Plays, one of which I think was just like loads of indies. It wasn't, which is fine. Love an indie. We all know I love an indie. But like, we haven't really heard from them or seen what they're doing. And they were very much the same last year. We were like, well, once Spider-Man comes out, what's happening next?
Yeah.
We haven't got anything on the horizon from them. We still haven't heard anything about a DLC for Spider-Man, and it's been out over a year now.
Yeah.
So like, we're just kind of waiting from PlayStation to see what they're doing. Yeah. But it just feels like no one really knows what they're up to. Every time a game comes out, I'm very much like, well, that's it. Like, we have a calendar for what Xbox have got coming out over the next 12 months already. The same with Nintendo. We have games coming out pretty much every month for the Switch, which is grand, and love that. We've got Zelda this month. We've got Mario Party Jamboree next month, which I am absolutely gassed for. But like, there's nothing really from PlayStation other than Astrobot right now that anyone's talking about.
Yeah.
If anything is to come from this, I really, really do hope that, I think there was a great reaction piece on Push Square about how now is the time for PlayStation leadership to take a look in the mirror about what they are presenting to the world. And realistically, this Concord stuff, the only reason it's getting a lot of headlines is because it is so unprecedented for something like this to happen.
Yeah.
But within like a month or so, even by the end of this week, once Astrobot is out and saves the entire universe, people won't think about it anymore, and it'll be moved past. But it shouldn't be moved past, because for me, and I think a lot of other people, this is emblematic of everything that is wrong with how PlayStation is doing things at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's so embarrassing. It's got to be so embarrassing for them, and rightfully so, because they clearly saw it. It was out for just a few days. It's a money pit. No matter how much we support it, the servers and keeping devs working on it is going to cost more money than we could ever hope. Let's just kill it now.
Yeah.
Insane. I've never seen anything like this before. While people did wait for Anthem 2.0 back in the day, and that eventually never happened, I don't think really live service games, apart from maybe Final Fantasy 14 Online, if you really want to get into the weeds about it, no game has ever come back from anything like this. And I just, sadly, I see studio closures, I see job losses in the future because of this. I think this is just a monumental misstep at every single level, and I really hope things start to change soon.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And if it did come back out, I think that would probably make the headlines, don't you?
Yeah, it'd be a bit odd, a bit strange.
A bit peculiar.
It might be a bit of weird news.
It's weird news time for some weird video game news. Remember, if you want to submit some weird video game news and get a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to supply some weird news under the relevant post that goes out on a Wednesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the appropriate tier, and become a podcast producer just like
Chip Thompson's Thumbs.
GY Goliath.
Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen.
Blake Thomas.
Gabrielle Philippink,
Eric Sue.
Great Giggity.
Michael Pendlebury,
Katie Garrett.
Huge ass.
and Big Money Bobby Wingers. Me.
We
Thank
can
you.
never put BMBV in the middle of the list anymore.
Every
No,
time
so
I
it
have
will
to
be-
shift it around, it's extra work for me to have to faff about with it, but the MBV has to be at the end.
Thank you very much, podcast producers. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Peter.
I've got some news here from one of the podcast producers, I assume, because it's from Chip at CT Thumbs.
Oh, Chris.
Chip Thompson's Thumbs.
Demson's thumbs.
Yeah, Chris. It's according to videogamer.com, and the headline reads, it's Concord again. Concord physical copies sell for hundreds as sellers deem them rare collector's items.
Are they
I was gonna say
selling
you
them,
should-
or are people buying them, or are they just put up for sale?
Probably put
It
up.
says sell for hundreds, which implies closing the
buying
deal.
them, yeah.
But
You know, I
was
actually
gonna say
went.
you should buy the controller so you can
probably
keep it and
should,
then
yeah.
sell it. There's like a limited edition.
I went on CEX earlier because I was like, oh, you know what? Actually, Concord will be quite rare now, won't it? I was just interested. And it said that they were selling it for £31 and that it was no longer available. So I assume they've just pulled them all from their shelves because they'll be selling a game that you can't play.
Yeah.
Third-party game sellers are attempting to sell copies of Concord on PS5 for hundreds of dollars in a last-ditch attempt to make money on PlayStation's recent failure. Following the announcement that Concord will be shut down just a week after launch, online sellers are attempting to sell physical copies of the game as rare releases. With only 25,000 copies of the game sold and 15,000 on PS5, Concord could become a rare piece of physical media. However, with the game servers going down, the disc will become unplayable. On websites like eBay, independent sellers and scalpers, it says, are attempting to sell the game high above market value. One copy of the failed PS5 exclusive is listed at $179 and described as a sealed meme game. Others listed at the same price describe the game as rare recalled and pulled from shelves rare.
It reminds me of that PlayStation 3 dev kit that someone was selling as like a pizza holder. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Oh, yeah.
And
they
it
even
was
put
like-
a slice of pizza on it.
Yeah,
didn't they?
Just coming up with a different name to try and sell it.
Then there's a little subheading. It says, a collector's item? While the rush to sell Concord at a high price does seem hilarious following the game's high-profile failure, these physical copies will become collector's items. With delisted games such as Godzilla PS4 selling for hundreds of dollars, Concord's physical release will likely follow a similar fate. However, the difference is that physical copies of Concord will be entirely useless, whereas Godzilla PS4 is an underrated banger. Nevertheless, the modern collector's market is a weird place. At time of writing, sealed copies of Fortnite's original release sell for hundreds despite being largely useless, and other live service games follow a similar route. In future, copies of Concord could sell for even more than they are right now, and the game's limited edition DualSense controller could be an even rarer item.
Whoa.
How-
Don't tempt me.
However-
Number 8.
However, is it worth buying a copy of a PS5 game right now? That does not work. Probably not.
Absolutely it is. You can't tell me otherwise. How weird.
How weird.
For more on the short-lived PS5 exclusive,
Listen to the Triple Jump podcast.
well,
Yes.
check out
You're welcome.
check out, and then a hyperlink to Ben's weird news.
There's more Concord.
More Concord. Well, I've not got Concord.
Oh.
I brought something else.
You got a naked man on your
I got
screen.
naked man on my screen and
can I
he's
see?
in his pants.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Comes from Kotaku by Lawrence Hodge. It was submitted by James Matthews, top fan, no relation,
Okay.
and Lloyd Williams at LloydW90 on Twitter. Grand Theft Auto comes to life in punk singer's alleged crime spree and high-speed chase. St. Anthony, this is in quotation marks, is charged with leading police on multiple car chases, stealing a bike, and trying to kidnap a store manager. Sometimes you come across news that makes it seem like there are real, as if there are real life Grand Theft Auto characters walking among us. Take the lead singer of an LA punk band who made his way to the otherwise peaceful region of Yosemite National Park and allegedly spent the day tearing Flip up in a very unpunk way. The LA Times reported that Anthony Melhaf, lead singer of a punk band called Cancer Christ, may have just turned into a real-life Trevor from GTA 5 on August 21st. According to local authorities, Melhaf began his Yosemite visit by harassing a pregnant waitress at a restaurant. It only got wilder from there, according to the Times. Here's the quote. The frontman for a hardcore Los Angeles-based punk band named Cancer Christ faces a slate of criminal charges after allegedly going on a terrorizing trek through Yosemite National Park and surrounding areas Wednesday. Anthony Melhaf, I still don't know how to say his name, 40, allegedly assaulted a restaurant employee, led park rangers on a car chase, crashed the car, stole a bicycle, then threatened workers in another lodge with a knife, according to Mariposa County Sheriff Jeremy Brees. Then he allegedly stripped to his underwear, attempted to kidnap a store manager, stole that manager's car, and started ramming it into another vehicle on a local road.
You wouldn't steal a store manager's car.
Crashed again and was taken into custody before assaulting deputies during an assessment at a local hospital.
Goodness
God.
me.
The man drove all around our county, terrorizing our visitors and community members. I am extremely happy that no one was seriously injured. The man's behavior was erratic and dangerous.
Yeah.
They have arrested him and charged him with everything from vehicle theft and robbery to kidnapping. He had 5 stars when he was arrested.
Oh.
He's being held on a $100,000 bail. According to Times, in social media post, Melhaf refers to himself as St. Anthony, while he and his band seem to think of themselves as a religion and their fans congregants. So just a normal man. This description of the band's music from its website honestly explains a lot. Here's what the band say about themselves. Spreading the gospel through their unique brand of reptilian power violence, St. Anthony and the Snake People have been sent down from heaven on a holy mission to make all politicians, paedophiles and police officers suffer slowly. Well, that's all well and good. Real punk rockers rage against the system. They don't terrorise innocent people just going about their day. Seems Melhaf has a lot to learn.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was big, like, crazy man in GTA energy from him. St.
Yosemite
Anthony.
man.
Yosemite man.
Actually pronounced Yosemite.
Yosemite man.
Yosemite.
Yeah. I've got some weird news.
Oh, yeah.
This news comes from at CWT Wheels, at Christian_Sturt, at Cameron_Keyword on Twitter, and Sydney Tuttle and Chris Thompson on Facebook.
Whoa.
Thanks
big,
to
Loads
huge,
of
big,
people.
huge news.
Sent this in. It's a Games Radar article written by Catherine Lewis, 2 first names. And it says, Concord is now filled with players throwing themselves off the maps as quickly as possible in a desperate attempt to unlock the shooter's platinum trophy before it goes offline.
Right.
New PlayStation hero shooter Concord is being taken offline later this week, and
What?
dedicated trophy hunters are now racing to unlock its ultra-rare platinum trophy that's about to get even rarer for the foreseeable future. Then it tells us everything we've already spoken about. The problem is that this platinum is locked behind a lengthy grind. While many of Concord's trophies are tied to getting a set number of eliminations with each of its playable characters, the rarest non-platinum trophy involves leveling up your free gunner reputation all the way to level 100. According to PSN profiles, very few people have hit level 50, never mind 100, and with only 12 people on the site logging that they've pulled it off, and with only 12 people on the site logging that they've pulled it off and collected every trophy. It's probably that rarity that's driving people forward at this point, because as has been noted on Twitter, Concord's 5v5 rivalry mode is now full of players racing to throw themselves off the side of the map as soon as matches begin. Why? Well, that's apparently the fastest way to earn XP. So it's the most efficient way to get to go for a last-ditch effort to get to level 100.
Why is throwing yourself over the cliff the fastest way to get XP?
I guess you get like a little
finishing a
tiny
match.
bit of XP, either just every death or maybe for finishing a match.
Not sure. There's an embedded tweet that says this is literally every match of Rivalry in Concord right now because this is the fastest way to earn XP for the platinum. I'll save you watching the video. That as soon as they say go, they turn around and just jump off the edge of the mountain.
It is quite funny.
One player points out that it's still not particularly fast, however, noting, I've been doing this flip for an hour and only went from level 44 to level 45. I am not getting this platinum, bro.
There must be another way. Surely killing people gives you more XP than killing yourself.
They could all meet up and take it in turns.
Yeah. I kill you, you kill me, and then it's fair enough.
So hopefully, that's the last we'll ever hear about Concord.
I doubt it.
Yeah, somehow. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's time for the big discussion. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that this week comes courtesy of Hoodlum Amnesium, who says, what are your thoughts on the Minecraft movie trailer? Will it be another TripleJump team building exercise like Uncharted and Borderlands?
Probably.
Well, Borderlands, that was sort of trauma bonding. Uncharted was a genuine delight. This is an article from Nintendo Life by Jim Norman. After years of casting rumors and speculation, we finally have our first official look at the live-action Minecraft movie, or a Minecraft movie to give it its official title. And it looks ... well, about as horrifying as you'd think a live-action Minecraft movie would be. Releasing in cinemas on the 4th of April 2025, the film sees a group of ordinary humans, played by Jason Momoa, Sebastian Eugene Hansen, Emma Myers, and Danielle Brooks, pulled into Mojang's blocky world thanks to a mysterious portal. There, they meet expert crafter Steve, who will have to help them make their way home. Here's the official plot description from the reveal trailer. Welcome to the world of Minecraft, where creativity doesn't just help you craft, it's essential to one's survival. For misfits, Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, his name's Garrett Garrison, Jason Momoa, Henry,
fantastic front fringe,
Hansen,
I must say.
Natalie, Myers, and Dawn, Brooks, find themselves struggling with ordinary problems when they are suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal into the Overworld, a bizarre cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. To get back home, they'll have to master this world and protect it from evil things like piglins and zombies too, while embarking on a magical quest with an unexpected expert crafter, Steve, Jack Black. Together, their adventure will challenge all five to be bold and to reconnect with the qualities that make each of them uniquely creative, the very skills that they need to thrive back in the real world. Look, we don't know exactly what we're expecting from the live-action film, but today's trailer doesn't fill us with hope that it'll be something special. From the CG take on the overworld to the "so that just happened" dialogue, and don't even get us started on the warped Beatles track playing underneath it all looks a little rough. But hey, there's plenty of talent attached to this one, and Momoa in a particularly fetching pink jacket. It's directed by Jared Hess of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre fame, with Oscar-winning production designer Grant Major and VFX supervisor Dan Lemon on board. It would also be too early to completely write things off. Plus, Mark Mothersbaugh is on composing duties, so at least the score should give us something to tap along to. We're going to need more trailers to bring us around on this one. Right, so this movie, I'd heard that it was happening, but I didn't realize how far along it was. I thought it was just going to be one of those that was just in development forever.
Oh, well, it's been in development for a while, but we knew it was coming. We had like random drops every now and then of like, Jason Momoa's in this movie, and we were like, excuse me? What is it you're saying?
He's got
right
a great
now?
haircut, you're right.
And a fantastic jacket.
Yeah, it's a good jacket.
I low-key, maybe high-key, actually kind of loved the way it looked.
Okay.
I hate the way it looks.
I kind of was like, actually, you know, like the creatures and stuff.
Well, yeah.
I'm like completely on board with it. Maybe not like the world around them, but I kind of loved the blocky sheep and the llama and the creeper. Like I didn't hate it. I was like this.
To clarify, I like the way all the Minecraft stuff looks in a weird, horrifying way. What I hate is that all the people are just 100% literally live action human people in this really weird looking world. And I get that it's always been billed as the live action Minecraft movie. So I don't know what I was expecting.
Didn't realize it was a live action movie until they walked in, and I was like, they're just there.
And
they're just these guys
standing there, completely photorealistic in a giant green screen studio.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of like a high budget kind of mid 2010s music video.
It definitely looks like a fan
Kids.
movie.
Yeah.
It's giving Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Is what it's giving, and I
Where
love
someone's
it.
just in a big studio and the background's been keyed out and then they've been plopped down in a thing.
I think it's because there's such a harsh juxtaposition between the live action and the entire CG world that they're in. And admittedly, Jason Momoa there's something crazy going on with how he's looking in this.
Yeah.
But especially when you see Jack Black, it does
my God.
It
That
does
really
just
annoyed
look.
me,
actually.
It just looks like he's
Jack
doing
Black.
promotion for the movie.
Yeah.
Like
He's not even like we
I
all
don't
know
know
what
what they would-
Steve looks like, and it's just Jack Black in a blue t-shirt.
I don't know what they would wear to make it look, because I know they're meant to be fish out of water. That's the whole point. But even more so because they are so out of place in this world, it does just look like that's Jack Black. That's
Yeah.
that actor, and they're just there. Like that could have been
The thing
him
is-
going, "I'm Steve." That could
Yeah.
have been promotion for the movie where he's not acting.
Yeah.
And it's so weird.
Like the fact is, he's just as he looks every single day. Like they
Yeah.
didn't even shave the beard.
Yeah, there's
He's
no
not done
hair or
anything with his
makeup.
hair. It's just Jack Black in a blue t-shirt. And I'm not saying he had to look just like Steve, but they could have at least made him look a little bit less like it's just Jack Black in a blue t-shirt.
Yeah, and especially given that, I mean, I don't know what the internal logic of this universe is going to be, but if he's part of the Minecraft world, he could have been presumably an animated character in the style of everything else that says. So they could have made him look like whatever they wanted. Or maybe it's going to turn out, oh no, I'm from the real world.
They're Jumanjiing him.
Yeah.
At least in the Jumanji thing, they sort of like they fit into the world, didn't they? In terms
Yeah.
of how they
Hat
were
on.
dressed,
But, like-
and,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, I mean, like the Jumanji thing in the sense of like this human's been sucked into this years ago, and now he's just
So he still looks
Steve,
human.
but he's still human. He was just been in this world for ages. He got Jumanji'd, and now he's stuck here in Minecraft. I just don't get it. Like that was the one thing about it where I was like, why have they done this? I don't mind Jack Black. I think he's great in most things.
Billy loves Jack Black.
The best Jack Black is obviously School of Rock, but you know, can't live up to that with everything he does. But I was just like, why? It feels like they've not tried with that specifically. Like, yeah, they're on a big green screen. They're in a Minecraft world. It's going to be for kids, but yeah.
I wonder how fan film it's going to look when people are like
Running and-
swinging pickaxes and blocks are breaking. Like,
I'm just in my head. I'm picturing Jack Black running on the spot. Going,
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
And he's moving along.
I'm picking them. I'm picturing them doing that, and they're not holding the pickaxe, and then you can see that the pickaxe has been like animated in post, which I'm sure they will actually give them things to hold in the. But I can just picture just PNGs like moving around the screen and
Yeah.
stuff
And
because
I
of the
like-
way it's been presented.
Yeah, I think it's gonna look really strange. I think like we knew that the Mario movie was for kids. It was a family film, but I think this is for children.
Yeah.
Like actually for children.
Jack Black has I mean he's bless you.
you.
He's running a real risk here of I mean I know he's not every movie he's made has been brilliant, but he's running a risk here of being associated, at least within the circles that we run, as like a video game pariah. Like
A bad video game movie omen. If Jack Black's
if Jack Black's in
it's
it,
gonna
it's,
be bad.
it's absolutely doomed. Although, you know, he was great in Super Mario and stuff, but like
Yeah.
coming off
It wasn't good
Borderlands
in
and
Borderlands.
then doing this where he's just playing himself. I imagine he got a big
Oh my
pay
God, he's
check
going
for it.
3 for 3 on video game movie adaptations that have
Yeah,
come
he
out.
is.
I completely forgot he was in
He'll
the
be in
Mario
Sonic
movie.
next.
Yeah.
Oh God, he probably would be as well. Like he definitely would be in Sonic. And yeah, everyone loves. I don't want to pick on Jack Black because everyone loves Jack Black, and you know his sort of build and his surprising athleticism and the way he talks and screams everything. That's Jack Black,
And he's
that's who
not
Jack
art
Black
director of this film.
No.
But this is the most Jack Black being Jack. That's Jack Black.
Yeah.
That's not Steve. That's literally Jack Black stood in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
It's really something so weird about it. There was a lot of very funny tweets about how people are taking stills, and you know you can see the exact moment where
Yeah.
Jack Black realizes that this is his life now, and he looks all
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a follow-up here because the internet reaction to this has been a little explosive, as I'm sure we're all aware. This is also an article from Nintendo Life. The Minecraft live-action movie teaser has seemingly been so traumatic for some fans of the survival crafting sandbox that they're now publicly apologizing to Minecraft Story Mode. This might not be a surprise, but when Telltale's episodic video game based on the Minecraft universe was originally released, not everybody was necessarily a fan of it. It seems the developers' efforts are now being appreciated by the same crowd. Here are just some of the story mode apologies popping up in response to the Minecraft movie's teaser reveal. Jolly J said, Minecraft Story Mode, I am so sorry. And then there's also, I'm currently writing an emotional letter of apology to Minecraft Story Mode. Forgive me. Jamie said, everyone apologize to Minecraft Story Mode right now. Minecraft Story Mode, perhaps I treated you too harshly. And RT Game Daniel said, I can't believe I might have to apologize to Minecraft Story Mode. Because that was probably the closest to any kind of narrative that has ever been attempted within the Minecraft world. Was there anything like that in the one that you played? Dungeons.
No. Was it Dungeons? There was Legends, I think.
Yeah.
No, not really.
So that's the closest they've done, where they've got characters.
Dungeons had a bit of a story, I think, but it was not. It was like it's a dungeon crawler, so it wasn't super fleshed out, but it did have something of a narrative. But yeah, not really.
I'm absolutely going to go and see this though.
This
is going to be another one of those. There's no way it's good, and if it has any redeeming qualities, then that's a win. But I need to see. I need to see this.
I'm intrigued to see more trailers, and I just want to see Jack Black in motion in any way in that world, rather than just standing against a flat background, effectively.
Yeah, they've got like a really good cast. Like I think Daniela Brooks is really good, as is Jason Momoa, and what's the other girl's name? Elise. Emma Myers.
Danielle Brooks.
Yeah, I think they're all great. So they came out and I was like, I did not realize these people were in this movie. Like I realized that I must have been like taking in bits and pieces because I knew it was coming. I knew Jason Momoa was in it. I knew Jack Black was in it. But I was like, did we know that these other people were in this movie? Yeah. So
I'm calling it right now that Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison is going to be the emotional heart of this movie.
Right.
And we're all going to come away looking desperately on Etsy for knockoff Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison merchandise. I want a cup. I want a T-shirt that says "I love
Garrett the
Garbage Man Garrison."
Indeed.
And that's what I.
Is he going to be a wrestler? Because Garrett the Garbage Man,
that's
Garrison
true.
is a big
could just
wrestler.
Be
energy.
a garbage man, but he is built like he could be a wrestler, and he's got the hair.
He's wearing a very jazzy outfit.
Maybe he's a sort of washed up former wrestler. He used to be the garbage man, and now he's a real garbage man.
Damn. Yeah. God, you might have written a better movie,
possibly
right there.
Yeah.
Think the Ender Dragon's going to be in it?
Punch a creeper in the face.
Maybe it looked like the pigs are the villains.
Yeah, the piglins.
There's going to be. I don't know if we know any more about the cast, because there must be an antagonist beyond. We need to escape.
That's true, actually. Yeah, they just kind of were in Minecraft world, and then that was it.
I assume they want to get out. That's the goal.
I'm calling it now. The Ender Dragon will be in it, even though we've only seen pigs. I think they just didn't want to drop the Ender Dragon right.
Who's playing the Ender Dragon in live action? who's flapping his arms?
Also Jack Black. Somehow.
Jack Black too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Kate Blanchett.
I saw an edited image of him. Because his line is just "I am Steve." Or
I am Steve.
Yeah. It was that still of him standing there. But they'd edited the subtitles and they turned his eyes white and it said, "I am Hero Brian."
Very good.
Throwback.
Excellent. This is not going to be good. I don't think that's I don't have to go out on a limb to say that.
No, I
but
don't think
also I want it now.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Whatever version exists now, I want to see it.
We've got to wait till April.
That's
but
so
I think it's crazy that we didn't get a Borderlands trailer until May, and it came out in August. And now they're like, we've got 6 months till this game comes out, and this movie comes out. I can't wait.
Absolutely insane.
The weird thing about this is, just one more thought, is that with the really horrible Sonic before he was changed, I can still look at that and see how a committee of people might say, yes, he's a crazy,
that's Sonic.
He's a weird, funny looking CG character. They're going to love him. But I can't actually see how someone looked at these live action people standing in a green screen room in a Minecraft world. How anyone actually looked at that and thought, release that trailer. Release that.
May I present children?
Children.
love colours.
And they're idiots.
Idiots.
This
They're
is,
so
as you say,
stupid.
this is properly for kids. And the
Yeah.
kids will lap it up. They'll think it's great.
And
probably.
so will we.
From a merchandising perspective, it's a bit of a disaster as well. Because you could maybe sell even the animals and the things that are in the CG style aren't in the strictly the traditional Minecraft style. They're a bit cubey, but that's it. How are you you could maybe make some plushies of some of the animals, but how are you gonna sell a Jack Black Steve action figure?
Yeah.
How are you gonna
Yeah.
It's
spell
just
a
Jack Black.
Garrett, the Garbage Man Garrison action figure? And also, if you do,
Yeah.
I'll buy
We'll
one.
buy
I'll
it,
buy that.
but-
So don't worry about that.
No.
I
It
wonder
is
if there'll be
interesting.
some in-game cross-promotional material.
Absolutely
Skins,
there will.
Jack Black skin.
It just puts a beard on Steve.
Yeah.
That's literally it. There's nothing more you can.
4 pixels. Just
The
Just-
white, the black, like the grey in his
Yeah.
beard. Yeah.
It's gonna look really fan movie-ish.
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah,
no
it
way
is.
it can't. Just like the Borderlands movie in several places look like a fan movie.
Yeah.
There's a
I think if it was a fan
complete
movie, they'd have
tonal
made him look like
mismatch.
Steve. If it was a fan movie, he'd have looked like Steve.
yeah, he
Yeah.
probably
Oh,
would
that's
look
true.
more like Steve.
They'd have cast someone with the squarest head.
Or shaved Jack Black's beard off at least.
Yeah. He just rolled into work. He probably shot that at home.
Yeah.
On his
I am
personal
Steve, and they just
creativity.
rotoscoped him out and put him
Yeah.
in the. I don't know what's going on over there. It's crazy.
So I've
All
got
right.
a blue t-shirt and a spare Friday. What can I do for you?
I can record all of the Minecraft movie just in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, that is going to do us for today. Let us know about all the things, what we've spoken about, and what you think of them, please, in the comments below. Treat each other nicely as well. Thank you. And Peter's going to tell you a few places that you can find us around the internet.
You can find us on youtube.com and twitch.tv, both /team TripleJump, and all of our videos out on YouTube, and most of our streams on Twitch, apart from a few special ones. And if you've got Amazon Prime, the bundle that you are already paying for includes a Twitch sub. So if you redeem that against us at no extra cost, you get all the benefits of being a Twitch subscriber.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, on all of which we are at Team TripleJump. Why not give us a follow? And if you want to support us, it's patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
Our website is triplej.mup. There you can find links to everything that we do. And why not leave us a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms, and we'd really, really appreciate it. Just enough time to hear about the amazing sponsor. Again, please, Ashton.
He's just a regular guy doing platforming. It's Last Robert. Robert.
The last Robert.
Last Robert.
Brilliant. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.